The head of Clan Kamisato and Ayaka's brother, Kamisato Ayato, has arrived. Kamisato Ayato is Genshin's third Hydro 5-star character. He's both easy to play and highly flexible, as his Hydro element allows him to fit in multiple team archetypes. In this video, we'll explain Ayato's strengths and weaknesses so you can find out if he's worth your Primo Gems before you wish. As always, if you enjoy a character for reasons like their voice actor, aesthetic, or personality, these videos are by no means meant to stop you from spending your Primo Gems on them. Instead, they should prepare you for the types of problems that you'll need to solve or work around to meet your gameplay expectations. The majority of Ayato's damage stems from his elemental skill, which converts his normal attacks into a flurry of AoE Hydro slashes. At base, Ayato is able to get around 17 slashes over the 6 seconds that the elemental skill lasts. The attack button can also be held to maintain constant slashes. Ayato's elemental burst allows him to provide Hydro application while off-field, but the long cast time impacts his synergy with other 5-star unit elemental bursts like Venti. Because his elemental skill's duration is very short, dodging attacks or being staggered is extremely detrimental to the number of quick attacks Ayato can do. Furthermore, Ayato's rotations can be complicated. Ayato can use a single skill per rotation, but this forces him to use upwards of 170% energy recharge. He can also use 2 skills per rotation, but this extends his team's rotations to 24 seconds, which can be a DPS loss. Even with his Ascension 4 passive, Ayato finds himself in a difficult position between extending his rotation to run less energy recharge or running large amounts of energy recharge to compensate for a single elemental skill cast. To address the elephant in the room, Ayato is a bit more difficult to recommend to people who already have a strong Hydro enabling unit like Xingqiu, Child, or Kokomi. But since Ayato is so flexible, his Before You Wish should be structured a bit differently to differentiate himself from the other Hydro units. Reaction Soup Compositions. These types of teams typically try to abuse transformative elemental reactions to deal significant amounts of damage. An anima unit like Kazuha or Jean will typically be the unit triggering reactions with the help of Ayato, Pyro, and Electro units. They have strong single target and AoE variants, but struggle with energy costs because characters of the same element will generate more particles for each other, and these teams are typically made up of characters with 4 different elements. To supplement this playstyle, Ayato can use Amenoma Kageuchi and use teammates that naturally enjoy high energy recharge or generate more energy. Despite this drawback, Ayato has extremely strong synergy with Fischl, Bennett, and Kazuha or Jean, and can perform better than or comparably to other Hydro units in these types of teams. Electro-Charged Compositions. Ayato can utilize Beto's elemental burst with his rapid normal attacks, but her burst duration lasts significantly longer than his elemental skill, meaning Beto will lose some burst procs when used with Ayato if he isn't using the 4-piece Thundering Fury set. Right-in team compositions with Ayato remain unexplored at this time, but Electro-Charged team compositions should generally be very popular with him. For Freeze compositions, Ayato is a side grade to Mona and Kokomi in Freeze teams, as his damage is typically not enough to make up for the lost buffs from Mona's Omen or the attack percentage from the Thrilling Tales of Dragon Slayers and Tenacity of the Millelith. Ayato can, however, differentiate himself from other Hydro units if there's a large amount of groupable enemies, as he synergizes greatly with Venti. Vaporize compositions. As a footnote, Vaporize team compositions are a difficult field for Ayato to compete in. He lacks the long-term Hydro application of Xingqiu and the front-loaded damage from Child. He also doesn't have the double swirl setups with Kazuha that Child and Xingqiu enjoy, which can decrease the damage ceiling of these teams. It's possible for Ayato to use Xiangling and Sucrose, but he fails to allow Xiangling to vaporize a large portion of her burst, and Bennett over Sucrose could be more competitive. The calculations are still not finalized. Hyper compositions. Lastly, Ayato is a hypercarry with supporting units like Yunjin, Xingqiu, Kazuha, or Bennett fail to make him stand out from other options. Generally, you'll be more successful running other variations of Ayato teams, but this is a good use for Yunjin. To conclude, Ayato is extremely flexible and extremely easy to pilot. He synergizes very well with Fischl and Beto and maintains some parity with other Hydro options in Electro-Charged and Freeze compositions. Despite his issues, he still manages to be relevant in a wide variety of team archetypes, but doesn't manage to stand out in many. As such, it's difficult to recommend Ayato to players who have already had a Hydro unit like Child or Kokomi invested. Keep up with Keqing mains while our thoughts on Ayato continue to evolve. Thanks for watching this quick overview of the Keqing mains' theory crafting staff's thoughts on Kamisato Ayato. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments and we'll do our best to answer.